Yes, I am. Probably a good thing that I didn't do it last night when I was really, really mad. But as you can tell, my rant has to do with adult bullies. So I picked this graphic that I found that says adult bullies operate in a set pattern. They are not interested in working things out. They are not interested in compromise. Adult bullies are only interested in power and domination. Very true. So there have been a few things that have happened in the past week that I have gotten quite worked up about. And, one of the things that um, is, I guess I should put myself in the stream, huh? That might be helpful. One of the things that I was thinking about was the fact that we talk about keyboard warriors and how people, think that they're behind the computer and the keyboard and they can just, do whatever they want. And that's one thing. But when somebody has something tragic happen in their life and people who are not even friends with them decide to use that as a club to bash them with, that's a whole different level of scum. I guess scum might be a good word for that. I have heard some people say things like, they have a right to say what they want. I think that when you think about things like that, I can do what I want. I can think, I can say what I want. It's a free country. That's true. We still have laws, though. So obviously there's a line at which we shouldn't cross. And how do we determine where that line is? Do we determine that line is only where the law says it is? Do we determine that it is where morality lines typically are? How do we determine what being a decent human being really is? I think part of the problem is you have so many bullies on the internet. I mean, I remember when I was in grade school many moons ago, you still had bullies. I mean, I actually had a girl that lived behind me that was a bully. She was, I don't know, she was kind of a bully probably through most of our younger years. And she evidently, I mean, I don't remember all of this. Of course, this is, my parents told me really what happened, but she used to bully me by pulling my hair through the fence. And my parents got tired of me running in crying and said, "You need to pull her hair through the fence and she'll stop." Because that's typically how, most of the time I was growing up and probably most of my young adult life, that's how you dealt with bullies. Is if you stood up to them, they would stop because they weren't expecting that. And if you're standing up to them, then you're causing them too much friction. They're not interested. They're not interested. That's pretty much been the case for most of the people that I have tried to stand up against up until the time that I started getting on the internet. And it's like a whole different world. And is it really just because they can get away with it that they do it? Or are all the really terrible people just finding each other on the internet and hanging out together? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is, but one thing that I don't like to see is people who are in the middle of devastating tragedy being having to deal with being bullied in the middle of it. People using other people's tragedy to bolster themselves. Or I even think that some people are probably doing it to make money. I would say just to draw traffic, but then again, a lot of these channels that I've been hearing, they're monetized. So drawing traffic means money, regardless. I wonder what gives them, in their own mind, the thought that, hey, I have the right to do this. I'm sure that some of them will call themselves Christian or they believe in God. And honest to goodness, I don't see how. I don't see how they could. I think that we certainly, when we're adults, and I don't know, probably, I honestly don't know a lot of these people. I'm having to find out who these channels are from, people, and I am one of those people. I don't go on drama channels. I don't go looking for trouble. I don't go looking for fights. I certainly could, but I don't. And so when I see, somebody saying so and so did this or so and so did that, most of the time I don't know who they're talking about. Unless there is an implosion within a channel that I frequent, I really don't know who these people are. So then I have to do some research. And I am actually so stubborn that I won't go on their channels or watch their videos because I am not interested in giving them a lick of watch time. Because I don't support them. So I won't do that. I have to wonder how low of a place you have to be in your life to take somebody else's tragedy and make them feel even worse about that. I have kind of watched that unfold over the last couple days, and I guess I just don't understand why people would want to be that terrible of a person. I have come across some very terrible people in my time. I've worked with some very mean and hateful and spiteful people in my time. But I have to say, I think the cream of the crop of evil, low-life scum of the earth really do congregate together online. It used to be on message boards back in the day, and now it seems like YouTube. I don't hear about it on things like Twitch as much, but I'm sure that, Twitter and Instagram, I'm sure there are, groups of people congregating all over the place. Now, I have to think about, one, why do they do this? Why do they do this? But obviously, it's just like bullies. We've always been told. I found something else that I kind of liked. Okay, so we've always been told, why bullies act the way they do. So this kind of is a good little thing. and it says, why do people bully? People who exert control and power through bullying actions do so because, I would think at least one of these, but could be probably more than one of these. Probably there's some people out there that it's because of all of these things. But one, they feel powerless in their own lives. 2, someone else is bullying them. 3, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. 4, they have a lack of empathy or understanding. 5, they are seeking attention. Okay, that probably is every last one of them. I mean, let's face it, pretty much everyone seeks some sort of attention at some point in time or another. And the last one, they are jealous of the person they are bullying. And that is, I have seen to be more than 50% the truth in all of the cases that I have seen. I would go so far as to say 80 to 90% of the people that I have seen bullied, there is some sort of jealousy going on there. Now, what does it take for a bully to think that it is okay to take like one of the most extreme tragedies that could happen in your life and not just use it against someone and kind of, bash them about the head with it, but this is even worse. This is so much worse and so much more sick. And quite honestly, I think there's an awful lot of people that need to get some mental help. They really do. And I think that there's other issues because I see people in the chats who are not bullying or using this situation necessarily to their advantage in that way, but they are using it to draw attention on themselves, right? So, think about when you, if you've had a grandparent or a parent or somebody close to you that has died. At least by the time you're my age, I'm sure you've had at least a grandparent die. I don't know, lots of people I went to school with, their parents are dead, or at least one of them are. I'm lucky mine aren't. But when you go to a funeral, all your friends and family, they all come. And what do? They're trying to comfort you, right? They're not comforting the person that is no longer with you, right? Because they're gone. They're in a much better place. But they're there to comfort you and to try to make you feel better. Could you imagine somebody feeling the need to get enough attention on themselves for instance, at a wake at the funeral home, that they walk in dressed like a hooker and walk around looking for somebody to hook up with? Now, I would like to think that everybody would think that is inappropriate. Obviously, the person who did that would not think that that is inappropriate. But I've been to many funerals in my time, and I've never seen anything like that happen. I have seen people throw tantrums and try to get some attention, but usually they're people that are in the family, not really some random stranger or some person who is trying to act like they have some sort of, friendship or whatever with them. That doesn't usually happen. No, we generally think of people going to a funeral as people who are trying to support the family, to be there for them, to, tell them that they're sorry that this happened. And yet, it seems like online, we take things that should, where we would normally act a certain way, and we twist it into some monstrous thing. And people are no longer acting like human beings. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Just because you think that you can say what you want because you live in a free country doesn't mean you should act like a jackass to anyone or bully them, particularly when they're going through a very tough time in their life. I don't get it. I really don't. And then I have to wonder why I don't see I don't see people just being supportive of the person um, that they say they support. I see a lot of people that I guess it seems to me that they try to keep the drama going, I guess, for lack of a better description of it. I don't why in the world do people want so much drama on YouTube? Is your lives that boring, honestly? Because I'll tell you, there's enough drama at my job most of the time that I absolutely don't want it anywhere in my life. There are certainly drama in your home life that you don't even have any control over sometimes. But um, why on earth are we taking somebody's tragic situation and trying to make it worse? Who does that? Who does that? Um, I don't know. Either people possessed by Satan or the scum of the earth. I really don't know who else it could be. And um, then you have people who they um, they act like your friend, and I'm talking about on YouTube, because most people don't act like this in real life because they're too chicken shit. And obviously they're probably still chicken shit because they're doing it on YouTube. Um, and they don't even have the guts to do a face-to-face confrontation in front of, the world on YouTube, I guess. But you have people that act like they're your friend, and then when something happens, some sort of misunderstanding, some sort of fight, some sort of uh, rift amongst the community, and they leave, and then they wait a few months, and then they kind of skulk their way back in. And they don't really say a whole lot for a while, and then all of a sudden, once the drama hits, boy, they're right there in the thick of it. um I, I don't I don't understand that. Do people not have anything better to do? I'm sorry, I get on YouTube to have fun. I do not get on YouTube for drama. I get on YouTube to uh, have another platform to voice my opinion. I mean, ask all my friends and family. I've certainly voiced my opinion to them all the time, whether they like it or not. But for me, YouTube is a place that I can share my my love of things, my opinions. I'm not out looking for drama. I'm out to have fun. I'm out to, maybe meet people, find new people to have good conversations with. This is why I do not follow all these channels that everybody's always complaining about in the true crime community. I rarely find a new channel unless it's a fun channel. I mean, most of the channels that I watch, there's a few true crime channels that I watch. There's one that I watch all the time. The others I just watch occasionally. But mostly it's World of Warcraft channels because I'm trying to learn something, or I want to see what's going on, or things like that. It certainly isn't to look for drama. It certainly isn't to look for ways to bully people. And then I think about the fact that how long does it take somebody to befriend people or creators or channel owners, and then kind of some of them, they end up getting into their small circle of, I hate to call people friends because people use that term so loosely and they're really not friends. Maybe inner circle acquaintances on YouTube. And then what? You sit there and you wait for drama, and sometimes it takes, 6 months, a year, sometimes maybe 2 years, and you're going to sit there all that time and wait for the drama to happen so you can like blow up and have your glory. I don't get that. I really don't. And I also I read a comment, and I don't read all the comments when I'm in a live. I kind of skim them, and sometimes my eyes pick up things that stick out. And I saw somebody say, that, they can say whatever they want. And it made me think, just because we can do something, should we? And we can do a lot of things. I mean, here in Missouri, you can buy a gun all kinds of places. You can walk into the store, you fill out the paperwork, you buy a gun, you buy bullets. Okay, so once you leave the store, you could walk down the street, load that, and shoot at buildings, at cars, whatever. You could do that. It's illegal, but you could do that. There would be repercussions. But most people know that just because we could do that, we shouldn't, right? So when somebody is going through particularly something where they're dealing with grief, or maybe they're having a nervous breakdown, or maybe they have some kind of mental illness, we certainly should not, as human beings, we should not be using that to our advantage for some monetary gain or subscriber game or whatever it is these people are after. I have no flippin' clue. But they can't have very happy lives. If you're spending all this time, hang on a second. Oh, there must be somebody walking their dog outside. If we are taking somebody's tragedy and turning it into our gain, what have we really accomplished? I guess these people don't care. I guess these people don't really want to work for their own gains and have something to be proud of. Oh my goodness, they're fighting to look at them. They're fighting to be in the window. And Gizmo doesn't like to be touched by Sky, so he's over there just growling the whole time. Anyway, I've been pretty pissed off for the last few days about this. It's very heartbreaking, and I have to wonder what kind of person it takes to do that. I mean, we in following true crime, there are all kinds of crazy people that we follow, that we see, that we follow their case and we watch them going through their trial, and we think, gosh, you have to be crazy to do that. You have to be crazy to do that. Well, yeah, you got to be crazy to get on YouTube just to bully people too. I mean, seriously. And creators of all things, if you don't like somebody, stay off their damn channel. There's no reason to go create drama. Just stay away from them. I mean, it's like the easiest place to do that. If you don't like somebody at work, it's a little harder to stay away from them. But by God, you're on flipping YouTube and you can't stay away from people you don't like. There's millions and millions of channels out there where you could probably have some sort of coherent conversation with like-minded people. I mean, I seriously just watched a I don't know if it was Dateline or I don't think it was 2020. I think it was Dateline. Where these people got into this cult through Facebook. Okay? I mean, you can find anything you're interested in out there on the internet. There is no reason to go, I hate this person. I'm going to spend the rest of my time shoving them into the ground. The only reason that you take somebody who has a decent YouTube channel and treat them the way that this person has been treated is because you're jealous. It's the only reason. The person has a very strong, continually growing channel, and there is no other reason to attack somebody like that other than, one, you love drama and you like being the center of attention, so you have to cause it if it doesn't exist. And two, because you're jealous. Because all I see is people, in my head, it seems to me that people, and maybe it's because I don't trust people and there's a lot of people in the world I don't like. So, I don't make it a point to converse with them or associate with them. But it seems to me that as channels get bigger, and it's not just this person that it happens to, and it's not just this kind of community that it happens in. It happens all over on YouTube. The problem is people are jealous. There's no reason to go after anybody once they start getting 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 50,000. I mean, there's quite a few World of Warcraft channels that I watch that have, 500,000, 1 million subscribers. The only reason why you go and try to start stuff with those kind of channels is because you're trying to pilfer subs or members. Or the problem is, though, at the end of the day, if you're doing that by nefarious means, meaning you're creating fake drama, you're taking someone's tragedy and turning it into a worse drama. If you're doing that and you gain subs to your community, they're not going to be long-lived, because if they're not coming to your channel because they like you, let's say you're going to a channel who has 50,000 subs and you're causing some sort of drama. And let's say just because of the drama, you can get an extra 500 subs to your channel. That's probably an inflated number, but let's just say. So you get those 500 subs and you think about why most of those people came over to your channel. They came over there because, one, they probably were defending the other channel that they were coming from because you were saying lies, making up stories, whatever. Do you honestly think that they're going to stay sub to you once you move on to the next person that you're going to create drama with? Because we all know that that's what happens, right? One drama dies out and somebody's got to start up another one. And it's not always with the same person. The same person may end up with multiple dramas, but it's usually from different people. So what have you really done to help your channel? And what have you really done to help your community? Because you're bringing in problems, right? I tell people all the time, I don't care how fast or slow, or if my channel ever grows very big, right? Even if I never get to the point that it gets monetized, I'm fine with that. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I've met some really great people. I want people here because they like me. If they don't like me, there's plenty of other channels out there they can find to find what they're after. I don't understand why all channel creators are not like that. Instead, and you'd say, I mean, I've heard people say that they're lazy and they're trying to steal people, and actually it reminds me of people that you work with that work really hard to not work. So, and it's like thieves, people who break into houses, people who rob banks. You think about those kind of people and how hard they work, right? Not only to go and get what they're after, but then they have to work at not being caught by the police or avoiding the police, right? Why not just go about it the right way? Would make a whole lot more sense. Would actually be less work. And yet people still go about things the wrong way. Same thing about trying to steal people from other channels. You're never going to really steal those people because, well, sometimes, but you're not going to steal very many. They're not going to permanently leave the other channel unless they just decide to jump on your bandwagon. And then those people, in my mind, were going to end up leaving anyway, and they didn't mean anything to you anyway. I mean, once you get big, and I've seen a lot of the big creators talk about this, you're going to have people come in, they're going to befriend other people, and they're going to bring them over to their channel. But most of the time, they're not going to lose the sub out of it, right? So if all you're worried about is those numbers and not working on your personality, you're probably not going to have you're not going to have very good luck. And if you're running a drama channel, I guess that works, but I would like to think that it's it would be hard to keep a drama channel going, it seems to me, when you're going to have a lot of turnover, right? So I know that there have been true crime cases that kind of interrupt the ebb and flow of subs, views on a channel. This is one of the interesting things that I've been able to see. I haven't been doing a lot lately, and since I've been on the stay-at-home thing, I have not been motivated to work on the channel because my hobby space is also my workspace now, and I think mentally that kind of is hard to shift from one to the other because YouTube channels are work. It takes work, and making videos takes work. And so if you're already sitting here 8 hours at the same desk working for work, it's kind of hard to shift into, but this is work I like to do. It's kind of hard to get your mind to do that. I just would like to think that humanity is better than that. I know lots of people, they get on the internet and they lose all hope in humanity because of these very kind of people that act like all kinds of craziness. Making up stories, people die and their channels are still there. People die and people still cause drama about it. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then I think then I actually had this thought the other night when I was thinking about all of this. I have to wonder, if you had decent parents growing up, what in the world would they think of what you're doing? And I guess some people in their head think that they're doing the right thing. But then that makes me wonder how good their mental capacity really could be. Maybe they, have some sort of issue that they need to see a doctor about, because this is craziness. It's one thing to call and harass people on the phone, and God knows swatting people is terrible, and especially if you're swatting people because you want somebody to be killed. But then when you think that that's like the worst the people could do, you see them do something else, and it's like way over the top. What the hell is wrong with people? And this is exactly why they're going to have to do something about, it took a long time for them to get stalking laws on the books. They're going to have to do the same thing with the internet, because if they don't, it's bad enough how bad it is with the kids. There's little young kids committing suicide because of the other kids from school bullying them on the internet. But what kind of example are the adults setting? They're not. If you think that kids are not getting a hold of these YouTube channels and looking at them, you're sorely mistaken. My daughter is all over YouTube, and she will tell me, "Oh my gosh, look how stupid these people are." Okay. Well, if the kids are looking at you like that, some kids are laughing and thinking you're just an idiot. Other kids are probably, thinking, "Ooh, yeah, we could do that." And we shouldn't get in trouble because, I mean, kids are not, their mind is not fully formed. They, a lot of them don't know right from wrong. A lot of them, think that adults are smarter than they really are. It's just very sad. And I'm just glad that I do not frequent any of the channels that are causing these problems. Um, I had to actually um, private message people in my Discord just to find out like what some acronyms were, because I didn't even know what the heck, and then I had never heard of the channels. So I mean, that makes me feel better about me, but I certainly you have to wonder about those channels. I guess Skylar's laying down finally. So does anybody out there have any comments? Because I mean, I could go on and on. It really pissed me off. And then I was like, I'd get really mad and I go, I need to go do a rant. And then somebody told me, no, wait. And then things kept escalating and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not listening to your wait. I'm going to do it because I don't even want to see what the next thing is that's going to happen, because it's never good. And just when you think that, and maybe it's just, I don't know, me, but I can't even come up, well, other than the fact that I've seen other people do some of these things, I am not so hateful and uh, evil that I would even think to do some of these things, right? I have certainly had people in my life that I did not like that treated me bad. And if they ever came up to me and hit me, that'd be one thing. I would certainly do something. If they ever came and verbally accosted me, I would certainly do something. I have certainly been in those situations and handled those situations. But honestly, on here, like, think about this, right? If your only method of communication with somebody is on the internet, if you turn off your electronics, like, they just basically disappear. It's like erasing a cartoon that you drew on a piece of paper, right? They just disappear. So what does it matter if they don't like you, if they hate you, if they call you a bad name, if they um, follow you around and say bad things? Because I'm sure that some of these people who are bullying, some of the people that I have seen being bullied lately, even if they did any of the things that you think they did, you could just literally turn everything off and they're gone, right? Like, if you don't go on YouTube, you're not going to see the person that you don't like seeing on the screen. Is that really that hard, or are people just not smart enough to think to do that? I don't know. If they know they can do that and they don't, then is it they can't control their anger? They can't control their emotions? If they can't control their emotions, they certainly need to seek some help, right? Um, and then, you know, the people being bullied, I always I mean, my first reaction is so much anger that I literally want to reach through the phone, the monitor, whatever device it is that I see things happen on, and literally throttle people, because my reaction to people being bullied is anger myself and quite honestly, violence. I just literally want to reach through and choke them out until they get some sense in them. It's probably a really good thing that I can't do that. But, you know, I spent all of my childhood defending people who couldn't or wouldn't defend themselves. My best friend for a really long time was one of those people that didn't fit in with any of the groups, and nobody really wanted to be friends with her. And I thought she was really awesome, and we were really good friends for a really long time. And I had people that I didn't even like. One of them I went to grade school with. She ended up going to my high school. Some idiot from the public school down the street decided for some reason, and I mean, quite honestly, she could have said something to these people. I have no idea. But I knew that she had had some bullying issues when we were in grade school, and I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just go with you, and we'll see if they can get through me to even get to her, because I knew if they actually fought her that like that would not work out. So it's hard to sit by and not say anything. I I do a really good job of biting my tongue in the lives, because um, I know that saying something there isn't going to do any good. And at least here I can say it, and people who want to hear it, because I don't know why, but some people tell me they like to listen to me rant about things. Um, I get it out and I feel better. And of course, my husband enjoys it, because then he doesn't have to listen to me bitching about it to him. So I guess, it's a win-win for anybody that I care about that's involved. But I really wish that people, I think that there's a multitude of things that could happen that could help maybe keep some of this more under control. So I think that if you're um, in a community, on a channel that is having an issue with this, and um, I really think that one of the worst things that anybody can do is to engage with the idiots when they decide to come into the live and start things in chat. And I've seen a lot of that happen in the past where, sorry, I'm trying to get my foot around lemon. I have watched people side fight in the chat. And honestly, what good does that do? Now, I know that some creators go back and they read their chats. They tried to read all of it if they have time. I do not. I do not go back and read my live chats. I do my very best to keep an eye on it to make sure nothing inappropriate is happening. I remove people that are saying stuff they shouldn't. I mean, to me, it's pretty cut and dry. I know that bigger channels have an issue in that they're either their livelihood or some of their livelihood is at risk if they start waving the ban hammer too much. So there has to be, you know, kind of a fine line as to what they're willing to put up with and whatnot. But as a community member, it seems to me that as a community member, you would want to. Oh, is it? Go put it in my room, please. Thank you. It would be best not to engage the people in the chat. If the creator has decided to allow them to say their piece in the chat, and quite honestly, I don't blame them if, you know, they're making a decent amount of income off of it. But just because the creator has decided to allow people to speak in the chat doesn't mean that when they say something, even if you don't like it, that you should engage them. Because to me, and this has been my experience with trolls in the gaming arena, they're after attention. Just, you know, just like drama people, just like bullies, they're after attention. And it's kind of like the kid that misbehaves because they're after attention, and in their head, any attention from their parent is better than no attention. So even though they know if they act up, they're going to get in trouble, that's still attention. Trolls and bullies kind of act the same way. So even acknowledging that they've said anything, I find, is giving them what they want. And yes, there is a point at which they push your button enough that you're like, screw it, I'm just going to, you know, throw fireballs out my mouth at them. I've done it. I've done it in my own Discord, in my own guild chat on WoW. I've gone off on people in general and trade chat because they're picking on somebody else. I mean, obviously, you know, we're human beings and we're not perfect. But to me, I find the people that I genuinely care about and care about their well-being and care about on YouTube, their community. I mean, you know, even in the games, you have communities, whether it be somebody's Discord, their chat rooms, whatever. I absolutely think that to me, it's better to ignore them. So, I mean, think about this. Somebody, you know, comes into the chat room and, you know, you're having a conversation and it's somebody that, you know, is a shit disturber and you don't necessarily want, you don't necessarily want there, but you know that the creator, has decided that this is not somebody that's reached the level that's bad enough to, you know, completely remove their ability to type anything in the chat. What happens if everybody ignores them? What happens if the um, the 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 channel creator and all of the community that's in the live chat, what if they never ever responded to what if they never responded to the person saying anything? It just like they didn't exist, kind of like the, you know, invisible man that you can't see, right? What would they get out of that, right? Nothing, right? And when they get nothing out of that, generally speaking, at some point they would move on because they're not getting what they want. And let's face it, there's millions of other places they could go to get what they want. So to me, it's a matter of deciding that you're not going to participate or help in continuing or helping to continue the problem, right? So as much as you want to, and you know, it took a friend of mine to really teach me this. As much as you may want to engage them, you'll have a time and place where you can do that, but that time isn't then, right? I myself in my own mind feel that the live chat is not the place to be engaging them. If the person whose channel it is decides they want to engage with them, that's fine. And I would let them do that. But it also doesn't give me in my head the idea that, oh, I need to say something to them, because it's their place, right? So your channel is kind of like your home base, right? It's your place. You should run it how you want, and everybody should allow you to do that. People who don't like you, in my head, should generally just stay away. And if they don't and they're causing problems, then, you know, I what on God's green earth? I think Samantha's Facebook might have some issues. I think that, I don't know, I feel like it is, as a community member in a community, it kind of is your responsibility to help keep the garbage out. And if the garbage is there and the creator is okay with them hanging out, and maybe they don't really say anything in chat, that's fine. Because you can't keep people from watching your channel. It's the one huge flaw that I don't really understand about YouTube, because every other platform that I use, whether it be my Discord or the game that I play, you have the ability to shelter yourself away from people. You have the ability to completely block or ban people. I don't really understand why YouTube doesn't allow that, but because they don't, I feel like as a community member, it is also my responsibility to help make sure that the community stays clean. It's kind of like, you know, Operation Brightside, you know, pick up the trash on the side of the road kind of thing. Let the creator handle, you know, booting the people, or, you know, whoever their mods are. I don't really feel like you have to engage them in conversation. I think, you know, ignore them, and eventually they're going to go away. If they don't, I mean, what kind of life could they possibly have then? I mean, think about that. Why would you stay in a place where you're unwanted? And quite honestly, some of them are hated. They've caused so many problems. Why would you stay there? There's no reason to. I don't know what in the heck you get out of it, but I really have to hope that at some point, and you know, I kind of thought that this whole being forced to stay home. How did my mic get muted? How long was my mic muted? Yeah, you did. I just said that. No, I want you to go change your passwords. Go see if you can change your password. Want me to give you a password? No. I mean a complicated, good password.
Yeah, well, I had the password you told me to use on this. Because I never changed the password.
Well, I don't remember what I told you to use, so go change it to something else. Okay? See if you can change it. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to get interrupted by that. So what was the last thing you heard me say? And it might not be that you got hacked. You just might have malware or something that's sending a stupid link. Because I don't think that Mrs. R got hacked necessarily either. I think it was just what's going on.
I don't know how you go to change that.
Let me see. M&M Mama, what was the last thing that I said? Well, I see if I can. Where's the settings and privacy? Oh my goodness. Let's see if you can log back in. Your account is temporarily locked. We've detected suspicious activity on your Facebook account. I've temporarily locked it for a security precaution. It is likely that your account was compromised as a result of entering your password on a website designed to look like Facebook.
Never did anything like that, though.
This type of hack is known as phishing. Yeah, but it could have been on something else. Over the next few steps, we'll walk you through a security check. Okay, I'll do that later. What was the last thing I said?
Well, can I go back to watching YouTube?
On your phone? No, because I have to finish that. Take my tablet. Oh my gosh, are you having to pull the stuffing out of all that? M&M Mama, are you still there? Is anybody still there? Because I don't know where I left off. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Oh my God, your memory's as bad as mine. All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to go fix this problem on my daughter's phone. If you think of it, maybe you can bring it up next time. Well, sorry, I'm kind of cutting it off weird, but thank you everybody for coming. And if you have not been here before and would like to see more of my stuff, please hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Sometimes YouTube actually sends those out. And if you could hit the thumbs up on the way out, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and God bless.